Hi, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin here. The Trump EPA is proudly committed to fully following the law and being a great steward of your taxpayer dollars. Since being signed into law on Independence Day, EPA has been diligently working to implement President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill in accordance with congressional intent. The new law eliminates billions of green slush fund dollars by repealing the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, including a $7 billion program called Solar for All. One of the more shocking features of Solar for All was with regards to the massive dilution of the money, as many grants go through pass-through after pass-through after pass-through after pass-through, with all of the middlemen taking their own cut, at least 15% by conservative estimates. What a grift. Furthermore, the Biden-Harris administration exempted this program from the Build America, Buy America law that requires federal agencies to use American workers, American products, and American infrastructure for projects using American taxpayer dollars. That's great news for China, not so much for the USA. Lastly, while this program was stood up in 2024, very little money has actually been spent. Recipients are still very much in the early planning phase, not the building and construction process. But the bottom line again is this: EPA no longer has the authority to administer the program or the appropriated funds to keep this boondoggle alive. With clear language and intent from Congress in the One Big Beautiful Bill, EPA is taking action to end this program for good. We are committed to the rule of law and being a good steward of taxpayer dollars. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Hey, welcome into Courageous Media. Thanks so much for joining me. We got great news. Winning. What you just saw was Lee Zeldin, director of the EPA, basically saying that Trump's big, beautiful bill is putting the death nails in the green new scam. This is fantastic stuff. He talked about this particular case that he was talking about was the Solar for All program, a $7 billion boondoggle that saw none of that money actually go to people who needed or wanted solar. No. It went from pass-through to pass-through to pass-through. It was essentially a giant money laundering scheme into Democrat coffers. So we've got two birds with one stone in this. We are no longer funding inefficient, ridiculous energy projects and we are no longer giving a slush money to the Democrat Party. So now we are going to rely on much more efficient and scalable energy sources. We're going back to coal, to natural gas, to nuclear, to other things. It's absolutely fantastic. Hey, when green energy can actually compete on its own without government subsidies, fantastic, we can use it. But until then, let's use the cheapest, most readily available sources of energy that we can. Because this idea that we're somehow destroying the planet is an absolute farce. But at the same time, what the Green New Scam really was a giant money laundering scheme and a giant wealth redistribution from the middle class and the poor to the Democrat elites. That's where this money went. Make no mistake. This $7 billion never found its way to solar panels for your house. Did anybody ever get free solar panels? I don't think so. No. This money was laundered over and over again to NGO to NGO to law firm, and it ended up in Democrat coffers. And it is exactly programs like this that are being cut that are the reason the Democrats are now broke. They can barely keep the lights on. They only have a few $1 million in their coffers while Trump is sitting on billions. It's absolutely amazing stuff. Check this out because Marjorie Taylor Greene was singing the same tune. This is great stuff. Please let us know you're here in the comments. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please join our channel. Hit that notification bell. Thanks so much.
The people will not accept another big fat basically omnibus type of bill passed by Republicans that does not deliver the agenda that they voted for. And I fully 100% stand with them. And what's happening in the Senate was shocking yesterday, watching out the provisions that we put in that strips away funding from sex change surgeries for children. I want to go off on that one for a minute, see, because that's an executive order by President Trump. And that is also my most important bill that I have, Protect Children's Innocence Act, that's already passed through judiciary and just needs a vote on the House floor to make it a felony, criminalize sex changes on children. So that would be completely unacceptable in the House, not just for me, but a massive majority of Republicans would not accept that. Also, the Senate parliamentarians stripped out our provision that stopped Medicaid and Medicare going to illegal aliens. That one's also a hard no in the House, as well as the Green New Scam tax credits. That's absolutely what we are trying to get rid of. And that's what people voted to end the Green New Deal. So
absolutely. People did vote to end the Green New Deal. And in Trump's big, beautiful bill, through all the machinations of Congress, we were to get most of that into the bill. And so now you've got Lee Zeldin, per the big, beautiful bill, ending the solar for all, ending a lot of the Green New Deal scams. As he said, the EPA, because of the big, beautiful bill, no longer has the authority to even administer the programs. So they're over. They're done. The billions of dollars that flowed from USAID, from Green New Scam programs, from the Department of Education into Democrat coffers are at an end. And that's why America is getting richer and more energy efficient, and the Dems are getting poor. This is absolutely great. Check this out from a sports event that actually talks about the end of offshore windmills. Great stuff right from the heartland. Not really the heartland, but they're on the coast. But you know what I mean.
For 8 years, as the mayor said, nobody cared. Nobody cared about the commercial fishery, the private fishery, the marine mammals, our Department of Defense. None of them put up an objection, but we put our shoulder to it, and for 8 years we didn't let up. And now we've got a partner because President Trump doesn't like offshore windmills.
In case you didn't hear, he said President Trump doesn't like offshore windmills. And the crowd goes nuts.
And we made sure that in that one big beautiful bill, they stopped the offshore wind payments. And that is what's going to help us make sure those offshore windmills will never get built. They'll never be able to interfere with the White Marlin Open, and they'll never be able to interfere with Ocean City, Maryland.
Right there in Maryland, the crowd chanting USA at the thought of ending more Green New Scam programs. Trump is making good on his promises. Trump is winning. He is battling the Democrats on every single front, and he is pushing them back everywhere. This is amazing stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe. And if you like the content, please share Courageous Media with everybody that you know. And also consider joining us as a member of the Courageous Army. Really appreciate you being here. Remember, God is good and he is sovereign. Till I catch you next time.